land of the Dakota people in Minnesota. The Dakota people called it Minnesota and others Minnesota Makoche, which means the land where the waters reflect the skies. And one thing you've heard about Minnesota is that the land of 10,000 lakes. And so it's not a surprise that the Dakota people called it the land that the waters reflect the skies. Mni means water in Dakota language. And so I acknowledge that we live on the stolen land of the Dakotan people, recognizing the history of that. And if you want to know which land you live on, you can go to this website, the nativeland.california. Where I live is for the Wapakute people, part of the Dakota. And so, and even as we think about what's going on in the Middle East and in other places, it's always good to recognize. And then acknowledging to my ancestors because of all that they put in me, and then also those who came before us. Even for us to be here, we know we walk on shoulders of people who, by their blood, sweat, and tears, have made it possible for us to thrive even in this country. And most of all, I'm thankful to God for, and even when you think of us coming to this place, it's a new experience. We didn't know, but yet God has made a way through this, what we can call a desert we didn't know, but he has made a way as he promised. And now we continue to enjoy, and we hope that he will continue to do that, making that road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert, like he promises in the word. And as we look to understanding this new land, one of the areas that we are always worried about or concerned about is our food, because we don't eat the same way like we ate back home, and what that impact has on our health. And so may God give us the wisdom as we go through this. We'll see how far I go with my presentation, but I hope that today, as we look at our theme or our topic is living a healthy lifestyle, I'll cover how to make healthy food choices, and I'll spend a bit more time there, and the rest not as much, and then we'll see how that goes. Okay, so let's start then with making healthy food choices. And when we think about healthy food choices, we have different food groups. We didn't always think like this when we were in Kenya, but here they talk about different food groups. And so in Kenya, we knew you had your kaugali, ka vegetable, ka nyama, or whatever, depending on beans, right? But or whatever starch that you eat, if it's mukimo or it's rice or something. But here they have these different food groups. So we have the grains group, we have fruits and vegetables, we have proteins, we have dairy. And so I'll try to go through each one of those to see what the recommendations are and how it can help you in terms of making good choices within that. But in all this, always make sure that you're choosing a variety of foods in moderation and in balance. So let's look at grains. So when you think of grains, they usually will tell you, do choose whole grains. And what does whole grain mean? And that's important to know. So when you go to the store and you're buying something, and I imagine this should be the same too in Kenya. If you have a wheat grain or barley or whichever grain, sorghum, whichever grains that we have, amaranth, there's that grain, as you can see to the left, it has the germ where the seed germinates from, the inside part that's usually kind of white, and then the outside part that's the brown. The whole grain includes all of it, and it is ground up together to form this flour. So when you use the whole wheat flour or atta, they have the whole grain. For some reason, some manufacturers felt that maybe it's the taste, it's the consistency, I'm not sure, but they changed that, and so they have refined. So with the refined, they only take this inside part and remove the germ and the bran. And yet when you look at bran, that's where a lot of vitamins and minerals are, and also fiber. And so we lose that. And so we are left with the starchy part, which is the carbohydrate and proteins and a few vitamins. So that's what they call the refined grain. So when that happened, the US government said, we are losing a lot of nutrients. Let's add back some of them. So they did add back some, but not all. So even though, so when you go to the store, you'll see it will say enriched. Anytime you see enriched, like you can see in this flour, it means they have already removed the bran and germ. And so you just have that, and then they've added a few things. So you can see they add back in some of the vitamins if you look at the food label. So why they do that, I don't know, but now you know, so you can either combine the two, or where you can do the whole grain, you use the whole grain. And this is important now if you are one of the people who like to eat bread. I'll go back here before I come back. So when you look at bread, whole grain versus enriched. So if you look at a slice of bread, so this purple and green, so the purple is the whole grain. You have a lot of the nutrients, as you can see on the side. I don't know if you can see very well, but it's iron, thiamine. These are vitamins and minerals are at 100%. But the enriched one, where they removed the germ and the bran and then added other things, they have, you can see that they added some of those B vitamins, but the fiber they don't add back. So you lose on the fiber and some of these minerals. So then when you go to the store, you want to buy the 100% whole grain. Sometimes it will say brown bread. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is whole grain unless it says it. And when you look at the ingredients, the first ingredient should tell you, because it says whole grain wheat. If you buy this Wonder Bread, which is usually white, if you go, you'll see the first ingredient is unbleached, enriched flour. Enriched tells you it's not whole grain. And that will be reflected also in the food label. So let me go back. So when you're choosing then whole grains, there are many different kinds of grains that you can find out there. We tend to stick with wheat because that's what's so easily available, but you can attempt to try different things. When you buy rice, try brown rice. It's a different crunch, but after a while, even your family will get used to it, and they can. There's quinoa, there's oatmeal, there's wheat berries, buckwheat, corn. Look up nowadays online. There are so many recipes, you won't be too lost. So you should be able to find recipes. The videos are there that take you step by step. Wild rice is a good one too, especially if you buy the real natural one from the Native American. There are so many ways I see our culture reflected in the way the Native American grow their food, and it's very close to how we do things at home traditionally. Even black rice I have tried and it tastes good. So you just try different things. Sorghum, we usually do that with our uji. Kaniwa, I've never tried that. I don't know what that is, and frika, but you know, it's worth exploring. Now, when you look on this other side, I'm saying let's limit these baked goods that add a lot of sugar. Some have a lot of salt, some have different things. So, and if you know, here the people really like sweet things. Even the mandazi they call the donut, even though it's already sweet, they'll add even sugar on top of that. So you're better off making for yourself. I mean, once in a while, yeah, but do not make it an everyday thing, because it also affects how your body processes all that sugar. Okay. The next group is the fruits and vegetables. And if you have any questions come up, you can put them in the chat and I'll be answering them at the end. So, or just make a note of them. And I hope you have a notebook, you're writing some notes because there's a lot of information, okay? So with fruits and vegetables, the main thing you want to remember is to choose different color vegetables and fruits. The more colorful you have, the better. because the chemicals that give the different fruits and vegetables the colors are called phytochemicals, and they can act as antioxidants. So what that means is, if you are let's say you're buying grapes, you can buy some grapes that are green and purple and whatever other color you mix those, or peppers. Do red peppers, green peppers, orange. The way it works is that sometimes if there is a there are free radicals sometimes that enter our bodies, and they are the ones that can damage our cells. So what happens is that these phytochemicals are antioxidants, protect those cells and prevent that oxidation. That's why they're called antioxidants, because they protect those cells from being attacked. And so include fruits and vegetables, and it's not that hard to do that. And they provide. Yeah, did you have a question? Okay, so they provide fiber, vitamin C, vitamin A, minerals. Also, that's where you get. So think about red and pink if you think about red and pink vegetables and fruits, we have beets, we have pomegranates, we have raspberries, apples, tomatoes, berries, and then blue and purple. You can think of blueberries again, plums, purple onion, eggplants. When you think of greens, there are many things that we can think of there. White and brown, we do bananas and pears and cauliflower, and so mushrooms, potatoes, onions. Yellow, we know there are plenty there too. So so think about that. The more colorful your plate, the better. All right. And then along with that, I thought I would also mention that it's good to also include vegetables, indigenous vegetables. When we got colonized by the British, they said these are all weeds, and people stopped eating them, and we tried to eat the cabbage and other things that they brought to us. But more and more, these people are moving back to eating their indigenous vegetables, because they are healing vegetables. So when you think of the indigenous, the spider plant, where people call saget, or sitsaga, I think it's in Luya. Yeah, different languages. We have a lot of kisses in Minnesota, and so I always hear about chinsaga, because they're growing it here. People are able to grow different vegetables here now. So you could try also do the same. Jute mallow is mrenda, and it's the one down here. We have stinging nettle, which we call the fai in Kikuyu. I don't know what it's called in other languages. We have the African nightshade, which is very popular, I know, in Minnesota, managu or osuga. I hear that a lot here. And we are growing it even in our shamba with the ladies. We have grown that. And then we also have like kunde, the cowpea leaves, the doroko. Those are good. Pumpkin leaves, make our mukimo and all that. So attempt even to grow these vegetables where you are. Get containers and do. We've attempted to grow some. This is our shamba this year. And look at the veggies that came out of that. They are nice and fresh, and they keep coming, especially if it rains. It's a really good harvest. We even attempted corn this year, but we were a bit late. So next year we know to try a little earlier. But on the left there, you can see these are the kunde, the doroko we were growing, and then some tomatoes, corn. And we also have some sukuma and peppers. And so check within your cities whether they have community gardens. If they don't, talk to the cities. That's the part of the work I've been doing even here in the county I work, talking to the different cities to open community gardens. They have a lot of land that they can do that. They just need someone to begin it, and they'll help you with that. So do that. And usually what is funny is that they usually list the community gardens under parks. At least here in Minnesota, it's under Parks and Rec. where we go for other programs, but never think that that's where they would have the gardening. So you can try that and just get a small portion and see how it goes. So when it comes then to shopping tips for vegetables, buy only what you eat for the week. Try not to buy too much and then you end up wasting. But even if it starts to look like it's not looking good to eat, maybe you can, or you won't finish, maybe then you can make a smoothie with it, and be able to freeze that and take that later. And try and buy fresh fruits when they are in season. They tend to be cheaper. Right now, there's a fruit I always tell people about that is in season. It's called the persimmon, which I have showed there, the picture. This is a new fruit. So that's another thing. Try new fruits. Go to the Asian store, the Mexican store, whichever store that's in your area that you can go to. This is a new fruit I tried maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I keep telling everybody, try it. Not everyone likes it, but a lot of people have started to eat it. It's called persimmon, and it tastes really good. It's like somewhere between maybe a pawpaw and a mango or something in there, and sweet. It looks like a tomato, but it tastes really good. It's in the Asian store. So take a look and see what you'll find. And the season doesn't stay too long. So if you don't go this weekend, by next weekend, maybe they won't be there. And then you can also buy canned fruit if in a place where you cannot get the fruits you want. But always make sure it says 100% juice. And you can also buy frozen vegetables, but also frozen fruit. Like mango, I like to buy frozen and can make smoothies. I can eat it by itself. I can add it to other things, and it's okay. Costco sometimes has good ones, organic ones you can buy. I included this fruit wash. You'll find this at Trader Joe's or even Cub Foods or your grocery store, you'll find. So if you look at some, like when you're buying apples, if you're not buying the organic kind, the other kind are usually very shiny. They are waxed to make them look nice. You'll see that with some other vegetables, especially apples is the one that I do. Anyway, so what I do is that because of the wax sometimes can trap some chemicals that are used on those that are non-organic, you just want to clean all that out. So this is just a vegetable wash to make sure that you're cleaning out a lot of that extra stuff for the things that are not grown organically. And then, so yeah, so limit when you go to the store and you're buying, this is what I was saying, you'll see fruit that are in heavy syrup. You don't want that. You want the ones that are in 100% juice. And you'll see the difference even with the total sugars that are there. You'll see here it's 18 grams, here it's 11. Yeah, so it's a bit easier. And then juice, the same. Just because something looks like juice and has the color of juice does not mean that it's 100% juice. It's just sugar water, they've added color. So like lemonade, you will see that it's a lot of sugar. And when you look at the label, like here, you can see it says 11% lemon juice. So it's not 100% unless it says it like here. Some cranberries, you'll also see cocktails, it's 27% cranberries, so it's not 100%. So just be aware of that. Some of the nice things we like, the fries, the plantain, and the bhajias, whatever, all these, limit them. I'm not saying don't eat them all. I'm not saying never eat them, but be mindful because that's where you end up eating a lot of because they are processed now, they are not fresh, so people will add sugar and add sodium, salt, and you can see it's a lot. In just half a cup of beans, they've put, that's a 580 milligrams of sodium. Sodium is now the salt we are told to cut back. In a day, you only need 1,500 just from half a cup, and I can be sure you're not eating a half a cup of beans when you put them on your plate. You're doing more, so you could easily reach your maximum, and you want to make sure you're controlling your blood pressure so it doesn't get too high by not eating too much of those. Okay, then we move to the protein group. So the proteins are the meats and the beans and lentils and nuts and seeds, eggs, all those are included there. The main thing here is to choose less fatty meats. Lean meats are best. So but also mixing. So when we grew up, we were not eating the chunk of meat that we eat here. It used to be one here, one there in the stew, right? But here now we have abundance and we eat a lot of red meat. We don't need to be eating red meat every day. Sometimes even it has been suggested you eat red meats like once a month, once or twice a month. So find other ways to include food like fish. You can include, and then try different beans. If you go to the cultural food stores, like the Asian stores I was saying, or if you have an African store or even Mexican store, and I'm talking for people here in the US, you will find these different beans. Even in Kenya, the same thing. You will find a lot of these beans and explore eating them in different ways. And then these processed meats, you want to cut back on them. They do add nitrates and other preservatives that are not necessarily best for you. So the ham and all these different things that are not necessarily good. If you're one of those who likes to eat sausage and bacon and eggs and whatever every morning, probably time to not do that anymore. It's not helping you. It's not serving you well. Once in a while. If you're eating chicken, especially if it's not the kienyeji one that hardly has any fat, the ones from here, they tend to have a lot of fat. So remove the skin, clean out the fats. Especially that fat under the skin of the chicken is where a lot of impurities are put. So it's good to get those skinless if you can. Ground beef also tends to have a lot, so it's good to buy the ones that is leaner. Otherwise, if you cook with that, let all the fat drain and then you can pour out the fat. Because the fats that you get from meats is the one that has what we call saturated fats that then goes and starts to build up in your arteries, and that's what can lead to either heart attack or stroke. So you want to cut back on that. So include more of the fish, the nuts, the seeds, the grains, those work well. Dairy is another place that has changed quite a bit. We used to just know of milk, and now we have skim milk, 1%, 2% whole milk. And then now they have introduced flax, coconut, rice, like so many other different kind. And it's good for those with allergies. Now they're able to, like my daughter has a lot of allergies, she'll choose one of these other ones. But the main difference between the different milk is the amount of fats in them. So, and these are those again, because they are animal fats, they are those with saturated and cholesterol, so you want to cut back. So if you can go to 1% or skim, and I know a lot of Kenyans will say, oh, how can I drink my tea with skim milk or 1%? It's a choice. You'll have to decide how you'll do that. But whole milk, but the good thing is that we do dilute it with water. You do half, and so that cuts back. But choose the 1% or skim. You can see the amount of protein is the same. The amount of calcium will be the same. Even other nutrients are about the same. It's only the fats that are different. So if you take the glass of milk, it will be 8 grams of fat, whereas skim is 2.5. So you've already cut. And then if you're drinking 2, 3, 4 cups, and by cups, I mean 8 ounces. But there are people who drink tea, and I won't mention their names, with a big cup with a lot of milk that, So just think about that. And then the other part that I would include, because a lot of the dairy stuff also has, is including probiotics in your diet. They do help. So probiotics are fermented foods that tend to have good bacteria that helps increase the good bacteria in your body, especially in your large intestine, that helps to protect you from disease. So kefir, you see it at the store, probiotic yogurt, cultured milk. This is like maziwa mala, the cultured low-fat buttermilk, cheeses and yogurt. There's uji, especially the uji that, the original uji in Kikuyu we used to call warukio, where you actually end up drinking it cold. So you cook it and then it stays, and that's the one that tends to have more bacteria, because the other one you can, in the process of cooking, can kill some. But yeah, so think, and then this is kimchi, that is Korean kind of Asian food, but try different new things, right? Then when it comes to oils and fats and oils, what to choose for your cooking, choose the healthy oils, canola oils or olive oils. Those are good. They are heart healthy. But when you start to move towards this other kind, the ones that are solid at room temperature, either naturally like butter, or the other ones where the manufacturers take vegetable oils, even though it will say here, like here, Crisco will say it's all vegetable. What they do is that they then add something to it to solidify it. And that something, by solidifying it, makes these fats even more dangerous for your heart than before. So they end up increasing the fats or the cholesterol that is harmful for your heart, and also reduces the one that's good for you. So that's why we say be mindful about what you're selecting and how you're selecting. So people always ask, should I do margarine or butter? I mean, it's up to you what you're trying to do and how much you use it. But I would say as long as it's in moderation. And then now they are making margarines that have cut back because they've had. So the trans fats are the concern. And so now they are making some that do not have any trans fats. So you can check on that. It's a whole other lesson when it comes to shopping, what you should be looking for. You need a whole class. We go to the store and we do together. That would even be perfect. And I've done that with people. And then hydration, drink water. Drink plenty of water. It's good for you. Drink it throughout the day. It helps. But there are other ways people drink and end up drinking more sugar than they need to, because you're drinking lots of juices or lemonade or sodas that you really do not need. And so because of we don't need that much sugar in especially because we're not drinking this sugar to get energy to go do anything. People even include caffeine to stay awake, but it's not like it's giving you energy. You'll go and sit down and maybe you're doing something on the computer or watching TV. So you're really not using those. You're really not using it, the energy that you're taking in. So they limit sugar to about 12 teaspoons a day, 50 grams, no more of added sugar. So think about soda. If any of you drink soda, you can see over here when you look at the label, and everything, it's always, the serving size is always given. So in one can of soda or in that, you can see it says 38 grams of sugar. So what I want us to do together here is I want to put a cup here, and I want us to count together what that looks like when you're eating that much sugar, so that when you see it visibly, I hope everyone can see, you will think twice before you take soda, or you look at least how much sugar it has. And so I will count. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't even think you put that much in your coffee or tea. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's 10 teaspoons in a can of sugar. That's how much a can of pop. That's how much. If I told you to sit down and eat this sugar, you'll say no, but you're drinking it. Why they put that much sugar, I don't know, but they put it. And this is just extra calories that you don't need. It's also going to mess with how your body has to respond by producing more insulin to bring your sugar down. It doesn't help you. So do the best you can to cut back on soda. Even saying you cut back by 1 a day if you drink more than one a week, you know, something like that. But do something about that sugar. I just want you to see, okay? Sometimes when you see, then you're like, oh, I'll not do that anymore. Because if you all usually just put 2 teaspoons of sugar in your tea and then here you're putting 10, it's not good, okay? And then instead you can make a drink by yourself. So you can make something fizzy if you're trying to make a soda. You can do like this seltzer water they sell that has that is, you can see, sodium free. It's free of sugar, and then you can buy 100% juice, and that comes concentrated, frozen, and then you put that, and you can create a fizzy drink that doesn't have that much sugar. So that's another way you could make kind of soda at home without all the extras. If you drink alcohol, I would say limit to 1 drink. For women, we don't do well with alcohol. There's an enzyme we have in our liver that helps to break down alcohol, but it's not as active in women as it is in men. So they said limit alcohol to 1 serving. So 1 serving or 1 drink is all this. So depending on whether you're taking a beer can or a liquor or wine, just 1. And if you do drink, you want to drink one, not every day, but when you're drinking, drink very slowly over an hour, and have water in between so that you can give a chance for the liver to try and break that down so that it doesn't become toxic for your body. So drink, that's why they say drink responsibly, and then do not drive. But if you drink slowly over time and you're just sipping for a social or whatever, but drink water, it will help. If you don't drink, it's not time to start drinking. So you are doing well. You don't need necessarily to include that. But I thought I would include that. And you can see it also adds a lot of calories to your body. If you are one of those who likes pina colada, that's what it is. 400 calories you don't need in your life. So just so you know. So overall, then, when you go shopping, go through the aisles on the side. Just go around. You'll find the vegetables that you need, the fruits, the bulk foods, the meats, and then really you should come out. Avoid going in the middle. Sometimes they do have good, like grains in there. You can go to that. But once you start going through the aisles, it means then you need to look at the food labels and know how to look, because now it's packaged foods, canned foods. You have to know how to read the food label. Food used to, we are used to fresh food where we were, not a lot of things that are in a packet. I can tell you in Kenya, you never saw meat, chicken nugget, chicken in a packet. And then you don't even know how long ago that chicken was killed and put in that packet. But things were fresh, right? Even meat you bought every day. But now this is the reality. And so you have to know these processed foods, they're adding other things and taking out other stuff. So always read the food label. And I won't get into this because it requires a lot of time to understand the food label. But always look and know that 1 serving size, what it is. This is all the things you see listed are based on 1 serving. And then they'll tell you how many servings are in the container. So then you multiply. If you take, like in this case, it's 2/3 cup. If you do 2 servings, maybe a cup and a half, you multiply everything by 2. So that's how you tell, if I'm looking at fiber, this looks good. Sugar is 12. Usually it should be less than 10. Fats, you don't really want these saturated fats. So it helps you look at food labels, but that needs a bit of time and we don't have too much time. So I'll pass this for another time. And then also always know the ingredients list are listed in order of how much is in that food. So in this case, like you see this food label, milk chocolate, sugar is listed first. It means it's the most in that food. And then the ones that listed last is the least. So always be aware that it's in descending order of weight. And then there's always allergens. So if you are intolerant or allergic to foods, they do put there for you to be aware. So you'll see that in a label. So when you eat out, they now have nutrition, restaurant nutrition, and I wanted to go to this one so you can see, and I had opened one. So because people like going to Chipotle, so sorry to the people in Kenya, there is no Chipotle there, but you can do one for, you should have one for KFC, because I know people who like going to KFC, but let's try Chipotle, because this is where people like to do. They give you nutrition information. So it's usually under nutrition information, you'll find it there. And then you can build your burrito. Let's do burrito bowl because we don't want all that. So when you come here, you choose, okay, let's do chicken. Is that what people usually like to get? And then let's say we are choosing brown rice because it's healthier for us, but you can see here, it helps you choose, or you can choose no rice if you don't, cutting back on calories. You have beans, can choose pinto beans, maybe. Then this is where, do you want guacamole? People like guacamole, but you look at the calories, that's 230 I'm adding, and I'm trying to cut back, so I remove that. I can do the fresh salsa and roasted corn, maybe. And then cheese, I like a little cheese, maybe fajita vegetables. So it helps you see how much it adds up. Then you come over here, you can see more, and it will tell you. So you can see sodium is so high. You only need 1,500 for the whole day. And in that one meal, you've already put 1,900. Fats are up, calories are up. If you're on a 1,500,000 calorie, half your meal is already taken care of. If you're on 2,000, you have a little bit. So no wonder if you go to Chipotle, after a while, you just want to keep drinking water. It's the body saying this sodium is so high, I need to neutralize it. So just be aware of that. And a lot of restaurants have that nutrition information that you're going to find. So take advantage of that. You'll see the same with KFC, but I wouldn't go into that now. And then use the nutrition apps. There are some that are out there that you could use. MyFitnessPal is one that people tend to use. It has at least a lot more foods available that you might be able to match up with our cultural foods to see how many calories you're taking in. So we've talked about managing your diet, making food choices, good choices. So managing your weight. You'll hear about body mass index. I don't know if this is large enough for you to see, but if you look here at your height and weight, you can do your height here. So if you're 5'4" or 5'5", 5'6", then you go across, this is weight in pounds. I don't have it in kilos. You look and you see, where do I lie in this? So if I'm 5'6" and I'm 179, I'm at the border, so I'm overweight, considered overweight. If I cross over to the other side, I'm considered obese. This is how they kind of look. But BMI is not enough. If you know you're an athlete, you work out, you have more muscle, then this may not apply because it will still put you there. So then the next, and you can see they are tracking this in the US because it's become a big problem now. A lot of states have more than 30% of the population being in that obese category over the 30 BMI. So they are tracking this over the years. So they started out here, you can see at the top, and over the years, it's gotten to where we are now. And so there is concern. Now you can see there are some places where for over almost 50% of the population is considered overweight or obese. I can see PA is still hanging in there with Minnesota. We are at the 30 to 35%. Colorado and California are doing much better, and DC much better. So that's why it's a concern. We're in this land. So look at your body and see how your body fat is distributed. Do you store your fat around the stomach area or in the lower part? So if it's in the lower part, it doesn't pose as much risk to health. Obviously, it may affect the weight on your knees and all that. but in terms of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, it's less risk. But this one, where the fat is inside, that's a bit more of a concern. So check your waist today, see where it is. If you're a man with 40 inches above, you're over that means you're storing a lot more fat in the belly area. If you're 35 inches or more, you are. And I can tell you, we are in that struggle, all of us. So I'll go through this quickly. Being physically active will help, even if you're not doing it to lose weight. I'm amazed by Anna Wambua for even taking part in that marathon. Yeah, sign up for this. Sometimes you don't have to run, you can walk. I do 5K, but I walk. But it's something, just move, just be physically active. If you can only fit in 10 minutes a day, do that. The recommendation is 150 minutes a week, 30 minutes a day. Do what you can. Muscle strengthening twice a week, so you can do some weightlifting or some different activities. Aerobic, try and do some every week. So whatever you can do, even if it's for a short time, focus more on the health and not so much on losing weight, because it's going to help you. Whichever exercise you're doing is going to be beneficial for you. So start small. Take stairs where you can instead of taking the lift. If you can park as far away as you can, the better. Maybe you would just like to dance, put music that is nice to dance to and just dance. That's exercise. And then walk, try and do 10,000 steps a day, get a pedometer. And then maybe joining up with a friend. That has helped me. I usually join with my friend Jane, who's here. And we go walking in our neighborhood, and that helps a lot because you don't even notice the time going when you're figuring stories. And then maybe let your family and friends and loved ones know so they can also help you achieve your goals. Or start just a walking thing with somewhere in your neighborhood, they probably have, but just keep moving. Stress is another one we need to manage. We are carrying a lot with us. There's so much going on around the world, so much going on at home. We are managing home in Kenya and managing things here. You're trying to stretch your dollar to help everyone around. And so stress can be a big factor. You're managing your kids, you don't have social to help or people to help. And so it can get stressful and bills continue to pile, right? And kids needs activities. They need this, they need that. So that can be stressful. And even just living in the US, it can be stressful for you as a Black woman. So, and this stress we carry without knowing until you go to Kenya and then you just relax, everything is being done. Then when the thought of coming back, when you come back here, you're like, man, I can't believe I have to do the laundry, I have to cook, there's no help, right? So all these things can come together. So managing stress, people do that through prayer, through meditations, just even having a good laugh sends good hormones in your body. And just keep assessing your work-life family balance, how much sleep you're getting, work, leisure. Someone said you should get 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of leisure. When was the last time you had 8 hours of leisure just for yourself enjoying? In a while, possibly. So prioritize your own self-care and think of yourself ahead of everybody else if you can. And just keep close to family, to your community. This country can make you be very individual. They are very individualistic, so you can slowly move into that. Try not to do that. Try stay within your community and uphold your culture of coming together. Even the Bible says to not forget to come together and hold fellowship with one another. Then the last thing I'll say is know your numbers. This one is important. You have to go see the doctor. Because if I ask you today, what's your cholesterol? Do you know? What's your blood pressure? Do you know? What are your, LDL, HDL, all these different things? What is your liver function test or what? You probably don't know, but it's good to know because some things we carry from our genetics without knowing. There are people who produce, no matter how lean and slim and active they are, their cholesterol always shows up because genetically they have that thing that produces extra cholesterol in the body, because your body makes cholesterol. For some people, they continue to make, and you need medication to keep it down, because no amount of diet, exercise, anything is going to bring it down, and it has effects. So you want to know, and the only way you know is to do a blood lipid profile. So when you go, they don't always tell you to do, ask them, can you do when they are drawing blood, tell them you'd like to do a lipid profile, and they'll give you triglycerides, HDL. HDL is good. You want it at a healthy level that protects you, because this is the one that carries the fat that deposits in your vessels out of the body. Whereas the LDL is the one that goes and deposits. So it's the bad one, it's the lousy one. You don't want that to be in high amounts. It increases your risk. So it's good to know where your numbers are. Your blood pressure, you won't know you have high blood pressure unless you check. It's a silent disease. Sometimes they call it a silent killer. So be aware of that. This is what I'm saying. Cholesterol goes accumulating in your vessels. Once it closes up, that's when you hear someone had a heart attack or had a stroke. So what you want, and then they have to go in and put a thing in here, a stent that opens it up. So you don't want to get to this point. And this process starts very early. By your 20s, you're already beginning. So when someone has a heart attack in their 40s, it's not because, or stroke, that it just happened. It's been accumulating over time. But so increasing that HDL. And then, so other tests you want to ask for, your iron, your hemoglobin. Your women, you want to know where your iron is. Some of us struggle with fibroids and heavy menses. And so you want to know where you are with that so that it can be treated. Vitamin D, mine has been low for a long time because we don't get the sun as much, especially as we go into winter. But I just did my medical checkup and I saw it has actually improved now. It's in the good area. So I'm happy about that. Maybe it's a time I spend in the shamba, I don't know. Get fasting glucose or A1C to know if you're diabetic or not. Ask for thyroid function test to see if it's working well. Liver function test, how are your livers working, your kidney working? It's good to ask for those tests just to make sure. If you're approaching 50 or have family history of colon cancer, or you need to do that. So like I went for mine, and when they went in, they actually said they found polyps, and they said these polyps, we had to remove them and took them for check. And they say that there are two types of cells that they can find when they do a biopsy of those polyps, ones that are precancerous and ones that are benign. And mine are precancerous. So had I not gone, those would have developed later. It takes time, but would have developed and become cancer. So if you are afraid because of the process and what it entails, yeah, it's not a good process, but it's better than dealing with cancer. So they will remove those polyps, and then you'll be going, more regularly to get the colonoscopies, and that's easier. Mammogram, pap smear, the same thing. Men with prostate exam, please, if you have men in your life, that's another thing. It's another test that they don't always like to do, but encourage them to go for that. And then assess your family history, what runs in your family. Just because you're predisposed doesn't predetermine. Then you can work so that you can delay when that disease comes for you. And so to end, I would say, think about one thing that you can start doing today as you commit to living to a healthy lifestyle. It's one thing. You could do many things, but just pick one thing. You could share it in the chat, but just think of the one thing that you can do as you go on this journey to present your body as a living sacrifice. That's your theme. And do all you can and ask God for help and courage to make the changes that you need to make so that your body can be used for furthering the work that he needs you to do. Because when you're home sick and can't move, there's a lot he may want to use you for, but he's not able to. And so if we can commit to doing what we can and seeking the help we need, there are so many programs out there through my work with the county that I have seen that can be really supportive. So each of you, that is your homework, or just put it in the chat, the one thing you can do today. Or if there is something that you've learned today that you did not know, that also counts, because now that will change how you do what you do. And so with that, I will say thank you, and God bless you, and thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it, and for listening. I have tried to keep to the time, but there's always so much to cover. So thank you for that, and I will take questions. Any questions? Let's see. Hello, Amatu. Maximize and plan for leisure. Susan, yes. Plan for leisure time. Yes, we need leisure. Any question, comment? What is one thing you're committing to? At least I could hear from one or two people, so I know you are listening. Or something that you picked up today that you're like, I didn't know that. I could try that. Walking at least 150 minutes a week. Know your numbers. Yes. Yes. Yeah, so if you cut it to 30 minutes a day, you can do that. If 30 minutes is a lot, you can do 10 minutes. Go ahead, Faith. Did you want to say something?
I find myself trying to talk, but I want to thank you for that, because I've been struggling with my weight, but I have caught some points that I will be putting them in practice. Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. Mercy?
Mine is a comment, and I think over the years, knowing you, listening to you, sometimes I fall off the bandwagon, and sometimes I'm following your instructions and I'm healthy. I can see the difference. So thank you for the work you do, for being a part of the community, teaching us, encouraging us. I've been trying to commit to eating less meat and more vegetables and grains to stay healthy. So I've been exercising, I've been cutting back my portions. So it's a work in progress. Like I said, sometimes I fall off and I notice my weight goes up. Sometimes I stop exercising, my weight goes up. So it has to be a balance. So thank you again.
And even, and thank you for that. Yeah, because even as I do this work and as I teach and I know better, I also struggle with the same, because other things come that are heavy, that hold me back. The way we experienced COVID and the losses we had in our family, I had losses too in my family. They weighed me heavily down. Farming was my outlet, and I was able to do some of that. But and then my work also changed. I used to teach in class 3-4 hours standing. Now I just come to the basement to my computer. So things have changed. And then we're in this cold Minnesota. So I have enough excuses for myself. And now it's to really motivate myself and say I can do all things. I keep telling myself I need to get back. I've gained so much weight. We need to. So we are all in this struggle, and we can help each other. Someone said, thank you so much. Go ahead, Purity.
Hello.
Hey
everyone. Sorry, it's my mom, and we are 3 of us here.
No problem.
Thank you for the information. And we have a question.
Yes.
So exercise, like you said, is very important.
Yes.
But what motivates you here? Because most of the time we want to do exercises and we know the benefits of it. Is there something that someone can eat to motivate us to do exercises more, apart from us knowing the benefits of it? Like maybe fruits or maybe a supplement or something to motivate that you can recommend?
There isn't any, you just have to find ways. And so the best way is to work it into your schedule. So sometimes we think exercise, we have to go to the gym. But sometimes it's not that. Maybe it is whenever in your day-to-day life, if you're going to the store, we always try to find the parking closest to the entrance. Maybe now park far and you have to walk. If you're wherever you work, if you can take stairs, keep taking those stairs and challenge yourself to go higher and higher with that. If you're experiencing where you're feeling maybe you're down or don't have energy, it could be that you're deficient in some vitamin or mineral. So check your iron, make sure it's not your iron. It could be you need your B vitamins. You can take a B vitamin supplement just to make sure, or just an overall vitamin supplement to make sure that you're hitting all the nutrients that you need for energy, because you do need some vitamins to help you with it if energy is the problem. But if it's motivation, motivation is different. You have to have a meeting with yourself and with the people around and see if there is someone you can join up with to help you, so that when you're low, they can lift you, and the other way. And other people can share different ideas or of ways they have been able to keep themselves motivated.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
So
you.
supplements is a big thing too when we are here, right?
Supplements are big. People try all different kinds. But the one a day, depending, but the ones that are made by nature made and usually have a sign that says USP. So just check for that. And you can take one a day or one a week, depending on how you're eating. If you know you're not eating well, it's possible you're not getting all the nutrients. I would choose food over the supplement. But also as we get older, you're getting beyond 50, 60 years, your body doesn't absorb all the nutrients the way it did. So sometimes a supplement helps. So like I'll take a supplement every other day or maybe once a week just to make sure. Especially there are times when I feel I haven't eaten very well this week. But food is always better.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Dinner. Let me take one question here. I see, is skipping dinner a way to lose weight? No. Skipping meals. So what happens is once you skip meals, you're telling your body to start conserving, and what you're saying, the message you send to your body is start conserving energy, because you never know, especially if you make it a habit to skip, because you never know when the next meal will come. So that when you eat, instead of using that food, it tries to conserve it more. So you start to slow down your metabolism. You hear someone saying, my metabolism is low. That's part of what you're contributing to when you start to skip meals. But I do know some people work different schedules. It's working out a way where you're not skipping, but it becomes your regular schedule. Some people say, I just eat twice. When I wake up, I'm able to eat, and then I eat sometime in the afternoon. But I know they will have kind of a snack later where they don't consider it eating it because it's a snack, but you haven't starved all day. But if you're starving all day and just eating in the evening, your body tends to slow down its metabolism, how it processes your food, so that it can conserve for you later. Then the conservation comes, you start to see you're gaining weight because you've told the body to do that, because it doesn't know whether it will get food the next time. If that makes sense. Yes, concentrate on being healthy, not losing weight. Because if you consider losing weight all the time and stepping on the scale and looking at your weight, you could even lose weight by getting on these diets that you have seen. There are so many, but you might end up not losing fat only, but you lose your muscle. And the more you lose your muscle, it's harder to gain muscle, because your body, if you're not giving it, if you go on a low carbohydrate diet, which is what they say, oh, go carb free, your body, your brain, your your cells, they need the glucose, they need that carb. So if you don't, it turns to your muscle, breaks it down so that it can there's a way the body can convert that to the carbohydrate to feed your brain. So you lose some fat, but you lose protein. When you lose weight, it looks like weight you've lost, but you've lost important muscle. So yeah, you don't want to do that. But just keep doing, every exercise is good for your health. So cut down on sugar in my tea, explore how to ferment foods in my house. Yes, all the things you've learned, that's good. And another one is keeping, I read that. I park my car 10 minutes away. That's good. Ensure the juices are there at 10. Yes. Is Cologuard effective as a colonoscopy alternative? Is that the one where you send the stool? If it's that one, I think you have to go more often. I'm not sure how. What I have heard is that the colonoscopy is the most effective. But I know they have offered that, but you have to go more often. Maybe it's not as effective as a colonoscopy. If I'm saying that correctly, I can be corrected on that. Someone else had a question?
I do. You talked about walking like around 10,000 steps in a day.
Yes.
So my question is, do I have to walk the 10,000 at one time, or I can do 20 here, maybe 100 there? Maybe at the end of the day, I'm like, I got my 10,000. Oh, I have to do it all at once.
No, you don't have to do it all at once. It depends on your schedule. But I have to say though, when you're trying to utilize the fat, maybe you've noticed my fat in this belly area is a lot. I want to get rid of it. One of the ways to do it is after 20 minutes of exercising continuously, of walking, your body starts to shift more to using, because first it starts with carbohydrate in your body and then it moves to using more of the fat. So if you can walk beyond 20 minutes, it starts to use more of your fat, and that can lower down your fat percent. But generally, that's if you're looking at that. But generally, just keeping active throughout the day is also very beneficial for your heart. So yes, do the time that you have. You go for that 10 minutes, you come back and you've your steps. By the end of the day, you'll be, yes, maybe at that. And you can start, maybe it will be 5,000 steps. That's what you can do. And they have now some apps on the phone, like I think it's, what do they call it? Like step tracker. I think I have one on my phone. It says step tracker or map tracker, something. You can do that, or by a pedometer. Yeah, pedometer. Okay, so for the person who asked about motivation, one thing that has helped me is realizing that sticking with healthy habits do not depend on motivation. It depends on determination to keep, to keep going even when I don't feel like, and getting right back on when I have missed it. Yeah, it's a lot of discipline. It takes, how many, is it 3 weeks or 2 weeks to form a habit? And it gets very hard. First week, in fact, I always tell myself, if what I have in my mind could come to reality, I'd be even better than all the runners. Because in my mind, I say, I'll wake up, I'll do this. But until I hold someone else to hold me accountable, sometimes I'm not able to do it. But yes, it's a discipline. Another thing for me is that seeking.
Hi, Dr. Murugi.
Yes, hello. Go ahead.
Hi. That was really insightful and always great to hear from you. Thank you so much. I have two questions. One, can you comment on the intermittent fasting that is so popular now and weight loss? It seems to work so well, you know, for many people, that they have a window where they fast and then they have a window where they eat. And what does that do nutritionally? The second thing is that the issue of the stomach. Some of us, no matter how much exercise, how much diet, how much what, there's always the stomach, you know, that is always there. You know, how can we get rid of the stomach?
Okay, so number one, intermittent fasting is where people, they do it differently. It could be certain hours in the day where you don't eat. Maybe you only eat between 8 and 8 and then you don't eat, or something like that. But the other one that I'm more familiar with is where you can go 2 days, you eat, and then 1 day you fast, 3 days. So you're fasting, you're eating 5 days and 2 days you're fasting in a week, but not continuously not like consecutively. So it's like 3 days you eat, you fast, 2 days you fast, 3 days you fast, 2 days you fast. So some studies, there's still a lot of studies going on that. Some have shown success. The part I haven't fully understood and how big the sample sizes of the people who are studied is what effect it may have on your metabolism. But if your body picks up on that and knows that there is food coming, so people have had like some good results with losing weight using intermittent because of reducing the calories, because of those 2 days when you don't eat. But when you can eat, people usually, as long as you're not overindulging, you're eating your normal, whatever you eat normally, that works. For the days that you're fasting, if you do eat, usually you eat about 300 or 400 calories. But I have to read more about what the long-term effects are, or even the effectiveness of it, whether people are able to keep up with it. Because what you want is to adopt lifestyle that you can keep up with, that become natural to you. When it starts to not be that natural, then it becomes a task all the time. So I'm not sure exactly how effective it is long term, but for short term, I've heard that it works for people. The second one was the stomach. Just keep exercising, keep working. I mean, because sometimes, even though, because what we don't do is that, and I used to have a machine, I think I did with that with you, Jane, one time, where you measure the body fat percent. There's a way you can check how much body fat you have. There's a machine that takes that you hold and can run a current through your body and check. So you may find that even though bodily it doesn't look like you're losing, in terms of the body fat, you are losing. There is a way genetically our bodies are made, and that could be contributing to that. But if you were to check the body fat percent, you may find that there is some difference that you have seen in the amounts. But let not that discourage you from doing the good work. And some of these standards of my stomach should look this way or my butt should look this way, sometimes they come from external things. I used to have a friend of mine, she has since passed away. We would talk and she would say, have you ever seen, now in Kikuyu it sounds whatever, but have you ever seen a shosho who is skinny, very skinny, but they live long? So we used to wonder, why is it? So it was a way to tell ourselves we are okay, but at the same time, there's something to that. How much does weight contribute to my longevity? Those are questions to ask, because we are in a culture where weight is something that is talked about. The fashion industry, there's a way we have to look, but I would want to move away more from that, and focus more on just our personal attributes. We are caring people, we are loving people, and we'll do whatever we can for people. Those are beautiful things, and maybe we can focus more maybe on that. But at the same time, I do understand. But when it comes to health, if you're doing the right things, you're eating right, you're exercising well, then you're doing fine. I hope that answers. Mercy, your hand is up. I don't know if you have something.
No,
Yeah.
I do have something to the question that was asked earlier. If you, I don't know if you talked about it because I got disconnected, but can you talk about fat cells? Because sometimes we lose weight, we gain weight so fast, yet it took us 6 months to lose weight, but in 1 month you gained so fast. Can you talk about that with relation to fat cells? I know you've talked about it with me, but that they never go away.
Yeah. So when you gain weight and you're eating, the more extra you eat, your body, the fat cells continue. So it's like a theory they have. So your fat cells will continue to grow big. And then if you continue to eat more, because your body can store endless amounts of fat, even the extra sugar you're taking converts to fat. Extra protein you're taking converts to fat, because that's the way the body knows to store if it can't take it anywhere. So the more you continue, so then if you're continuing, the fat cell gets big and then it divides. It creates another one. So that one starts small and continues to grow, and then it creates another one. So you start to increase in fat cells. Then you decide you're losing weight. So those fat cells will shrink, but they don't reduce in number because now they've increased in number. So it becomes even more of a struggle for the person to lose weight because the body is trying to pull them to what it's used to. So you have to work extra hard. And so you can understand just how the body works. So it's a lot more work. And then as you're growing older too, hormones kick in, different hormones, menopause is kicking in, it's treating your body differently. So the struggle becomes real. Like when this is struggle is real, it is real. But it's just to encourage you to keep up with the positive things that you're doing for your health and not to give up. And keep saying, recite whatever verses you need to. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. There is no mountain too big, like, I can overcome. Surely God is with me. He'll make me, he'll make a way out of no way. Like whatever you need to keep going, because that's positive. Any other question? Any other comment?
Hey, Murugi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I have a question about menopause. How do you deal with your weight when you're going through premenopause and menopause? Because as you get closer to 50, the weight just stays there. What can you recommend for those who are premenopausal, those who are already having menopause? In terms of dealing with that weight and in terms of eating, do you eat differently now that you're in a different season?
I'm telling you, yes, you should eat differently. And this is an area because it's not my expertise, but because I'm going through it now and just looking at my body and wondering what's going on. Even I was asking the doctor about that. For sure, as you grow older, you tend to keep more body fat than muscle, but it means then you have to commit more to that physical activity, exercising, so that you can try and keep your metabolism up, because exercising helps to keep your metabolism up even as your body is slowing down. So I think, because I have seen, and I'm even very inspired by Anna Wambua, even doing what she's doing, that really helps. So I think it's a commitment now to your health in terms of exercising, doing more to try and keep your metabolism up, and being careful about what you're eating, observing some of that. But in terms of hormone changes, that's something to discuss with the doctor. What would be another thing to do? And the problem is, as we grow older, we kind of slow down, whereas we should actually be keeping up. They've done studies with people who live to 100 and above. They're called centenarians in Japan, in some places in Italy. They haven't come to Africa, but we are there. And they have seen that continuing to keep your body moving and active does help you. And when you think about our grandparents, and maybe even our parents, especially those who lived up country, like my grandfather lived for a long time, his brother too, but they were active, continually going down, to the shamba, to dig, to what, they're continually active. So that helps a lot. But here, if anything now, even with COVID now, we're able to work from home. The environment here is toxic for us when we're trying to manage our weight, and to recognize that you don't even need to open a door, it's open for you. Even this muscle that could have been used is not. You just walk in. it is si kuzuri. Lazima ujitahidi like to work out and make it a priority. And as I say this, I'm talking to myself too. I have to make it my priority now to become part of my lifestyle, because the US, in Nairobi, remember, even when you went to town, you could get off the bus, Kenyatta Avenue, you could walk to the other side of town, come back. And the food that we're eating is not like here, it's not that processed. So it can help you more. But here, you move from Walmart to Target, you're taking your car, then you're taking your car where you could have walked. It's the convenience of a car, the jobs now that we have really are not helping us. So keep working at it. Now when you have the energy, you're not sick. Some people now have arthritis, or you have an injury, or you have something, you're not able to move as well. So you have to find exercises you can do when you're seated, creates a challenge. But while you can, this is a good time to really incorporate things that you want to be part of your day-to-day. Even though we get caught up, maybe you're working one job, two jobs, you're a mother, you have kids, there are so many things you have to think about. But prioritize yourself, and that's part of self-care. As mothers and as, our community people, we are giving so much, but we also need to give to ourselves. And that's where I have been really thinking about giving to myself too. I have observed, I've observed that when it comes to diet, we do not uphold good habits, especially when we gather and eat together, chapati, meat, mandazi. We're never in our daily diet when we're in Kenya, but that's what we tend to bring. Yes. And if you say the one time I go to the party is when I'll be eating like that, but when I'm home, once in a while. But if it's every week you're going somewhere, especially in the summer where we are always going, yeah, you will gain some weight. So change how you do. When you're meeting with people, instead of meeting over a meal, change and meet at the park, especially if you live in those warmer areas. Meet somewhere where you do something together, but exercising. So maybe even some of these meetings, you could have them out there walking, have a walking something, meeting, and go around here we have lakes. I don't know what you have in PA and other places, but here we are we have a lot of places that we can go. Sarah, I see your hand is up. Yeah.
Hello, Dr. Murugi. Thank you so much for this platform. It is very knowledgeable. I've really enjoyed and very insightful. Much appreciated. I have a question. My first question is oatmeal a good substitute for breakfast? And can you add whole milk? Because at first I know you spoke about whole milk being another option. So do you add water or you can add milk?
Oh, good question. So oatmeal is good, especially if you buy that original one, the one that's not been refined and they have added sugar. Those packets sometimes come with sugar, maple. Don't buy that. Buy the original one, because that's whole wheat and it will say whole oats. Sorry. So that's a good breakfast cereal if you like cereal. And you can add your skim milk or 1% milk. So if you're a whole milk person, or you can dilute if you're using whole milk, put kidogo whole milk and put water. A lot of people like oatmeal with water. I like mixing some milk and some water, but I use 1%. So if you're a whole milk person, start moving to 2% and see how it goes. Before long, you'll find that you can move to 1%. That's how I did it. And now I just do 1%. Sometimes I might do skim, but 1% is where I'm able to enjoy. So yeah, you can mix the two. You can mix some milk and some water with your oatmeal and make it that way. And then maybe add even some fruit. I like to add some blueberries, or I can add some banana in there. So you can add just to, enhance it a bit.
My second question, the last one, if you're looking to lose weight, is much fruit or too much, when you're eating fruit, because sometimes when you look at some diet, they will tell you you can take maybe half avocado or have a mango, not to eat at full. I mean the full one. If you're looking to lose weight, is it are you supposed to cut some fruit or eat not much, but you look at the quality you're eating?
Oh yeah. So yeah, fruit has the sugars too. So if you have 2 fruits a day, really you're going to get the vitamin C you need and maybe fiber. So if you're trying to lose weight, generally if you're maybe, and I think in terms of calories, 1500 calories, but if half your plate is vegetables, so you look at your plate and you see half of it is vegetables, those are good because they are high in fiber, and they also keep you full a bit longer. So you can make half your plate to be vegetables, and then a quarter, you just look at the palm of your hand. That's the size of rice or ugali or starch that you put. Kidogo too, but it's there. And then whatever protein, whether it's a few of beans or meat. And when you eat chicken, you don't have to eat the whole half chicken or 2, 3, 4 drumstick. Even when it tastes nice, just monitor yourself. Maybe you have a chicken leg, maybe it's a thigh that you have, because when you eat a leg and thigh, you've eaten enough protein for your day, and you're yet to eat dinner and other things. So you can cut on that meat and the starch and concentrate more on the vegetables. And vegetables, mix them up, have broccoli, cauliflower, sukuma, whatever all the different vegetables we said, you can do that. Yeah, I hope that answers, but yeah, concentrate more on, because vegetables will really help you keep fuller longer when you're going. And then also, like if you're going to work or sometimes you feel you need to eat something, snacks that you can carry, you can cut up like carrots, peppers, and then even some grapes maybe you can carry, and some nuts you can also carry a few, so you can snack on that rather than go to a vending machine or stop by the store somewhere, carry a salad. But yeah, fruits, you can, depending, because it really depends at the end of the day what you're eating and how much. So if you're not eating that much carbohydrate, I don't see the fruit then being that much of a problem, but a couple of fruits a day is good, and mix up those colors. When I hit 40, I feel tired. What could be the issue? All the time having night sweats, Kijoto. Oh yeah, so I got a private message here, but it's about you feel tired, legs are exhausted, and the diet is good. You are champion on veggies. What could be at sometimes are having night sweats, Kijoto. Yes, Kijoto, hiyo ni kama ina sound kama menopause. I'm telling you, until I started going through it, I didn't know this is what it can be, because it comes intermittently when you're in perimenopause, that you're not quite there, but it's there. Maybe you still have your period, but then it's skipping. But yeah, you start to have those menopausal symptoms, hot flashes, sweating, and you can't control it, and night sweats. Sometimes I'm here teaching and then all of a sudden my face is full of sweat. Yeah, it happens. That's the menopause. And the feeling tired. So you want to check. I would say if you're feeling tired, exhausted a lot, I think it may be good to do the labs, check what your iron levels are. And also just to make sure, check what your vitamin D is, especially if you usually just feel tired or you feel like you have like bone pain sometimes. It could be your vitamin D is low. So check those. Once you establish those are normal, then maybe a vitamin B complex might be helpful in that sense, or a vitamin supplement might help. But I'm guessing there is something maybe with your iron, or it could be something with your vitamin D. that is getting you to be that exhausted, because that shouldn't be that normal for you to feel exhausted. So check on those, and you can always let me know once you do, and then we can talk a little bit more to see what's going on. Having an accountability partner helps. Is eating overnight healthy for we night workers? Yeah, and more I'm getting that question from people who work overnights. Because then when you come home at 7 in the morning, you need to sleep. And then depending on where you're working, so it's establishing, is there a moment in the night? Because now you sleep during, your night is the other way around. If you find a time that you're able to sit and eat proper, rather than what, snacks or things that people have, I think it's important to establish a time that you can eat, because your body is going, and then eating a good breakfast. And find a moment where, because sometimes people who work overnight also work under very stress, even though you're working and doing, you're also working under stressful situations. So that doesn't help your stress levels. So finding times that you can also just take a break, find a place you just go breathe and relax. Otherwise, find a time outside of work where you can go and just walk and free your mind. And then you're able to sleep and then wake up again to go back to work. So establish whether maybe before you go to work is when you take in a walk, and then you have a good meal, and then you go. I have to think about that a little bit, but if you can, try to plan when you will be eating, because now your time is kind of the other way around. But the good thing is that hopefully when you work overnight, it's not like where you're going, you're still active. So you could have a meal at that 10 p.m. and then have your breakfast, and then you come home and sleep, wake up in the afternoon, do something for yourself. And I know there's family too. So working overnights, they've said, it can be difficult for your body, and especially as you grow older. So so see how you feel, talk with your doctor and see what they recommend, especially as you grow older, whether that's still an option for you or not, or how you can best work with it. But yeah, whatever choices of food you're making is important. It's because you're working reverse of the way the body works, because when the nighttime comes and your body starts to slow down, that's when now you're getting active. So it changes the way the body works with your hormones. So when you come home, then make sure you block all the light, and find a quiet place that you're able to sleep, and that it's dark, and your body can start to shift and feel this is when it can also recuperate. Sounds like I've answered all the questions. Muni, back to you. I really appreciate this, and we're at 4:30, so I think it's a good time. If you need to get a hold of me, you can contact Wamuni, you can email me, and we can go from there. Sometimes I've worked with people one-on-one, but I would encourage you to talk with your doctor, see if you have a dietitian within that place, and see if you can work with them. The dietitians should be able to work with you. Sometimes they don't know the cultural foods, but you might find one that is able to. So that's another resource that should be covered with a referral.